A New York Times Siena College poll taken after President Biden stepped aside shows Trump and Harris locked in a pretty tight race. Among likely voters, Trump leads Harris 48% to 47% in a head-to-head match. Among registered voters, Trump's lead is a little higher, 48 to her 46. Here now, Alex Gangitano, White House correspondent for our partners at thehill.com. How might these numbers, Alex, play into the campaign strategy here in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, she's definitely building momentum with the polling that's come out over the last day. Before that, fundraising momentum. You mentioned the major endorsement with the Obamas early this morning. So I think this polling is going to show them where they have to put the most attention. But we all knew, even when President Biden was at the top of the ticket, that the most attention has to go to these battleground states. Yes, she's in this narrow national matchup with Trump, but it's really going to come down to these critical 7 or so states. And there's new polling from The Hill and Emerson College that showed yesterday that she's narrowing the margins. She's narrowing Trump's lead in a lot of these critical states, which is huge news for her because Biden was trailing him. And I think in large part, that's why he made the decision to drop out of the race, because the writing was on the wall in places like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, that he was struggling in those places. We also saw polling just this morning from just Michigan that showed her dead even with Trump. That's also good news for Democrats. So I think we're going to see their campaign strategy moving ahead, that she's going to head to these states. We know actually on Tuesday she's going to go to Georgia. We know tomorrow second gentleman Doug Emhoff will be in Wisconsin. They're really going to put a lot of their focus on the battleground states.
What are we seeing in terms of young voters right now, Alex, and what the polls are revealing about young voters, some new voters being energized?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. These new voters are being energized, even among donations. There's been an influx of people donating to her that didn't donate to Biden. It's not, oh, I'll give, $100 more. It's, I haven't given yet because I wasn't excited, and now I'm going to give to her. And I think young voters in particular see this as kind of a fresh start. Obviously, Biden's age was an issue for them, but I think a lot of Biden's, rhetoric on things like the war in the Middle East, that he's maybe not as empathetic as they feel like Harris will be to their concerns over the situation in Gaza, to things like student loans. Biden has done a lot for student loan forgiveness. He tried, but the Supreme Court, blocked some of his efforts. I think they see another fresh start with Harris of she'll give it another go and we'll see what she can do. I think things like climate as well. They think that she'll just go further. So there's definitely a lot of enthusiasm behind young voters, but for her. But I think right now, part of the question is, can this last, or is it kind of a honeymoon period right now?
Right. She's dominating the headlines. So what's Trump saying out on the campaign trail?
Yeah, so we did actually see Trump go on this kind of back and forth over the debate with Harris. There was a debate scheduled for September when it was supposed to be Trump and Biden. At that time, obviously, there were questions over should Biden even participate in this event? How much does he have to prepare for it because of how poor his debate was in June? Now with Harris presumed to be at the top of the ticket, Trump is facing a much different candidate. I think the Republicans right now are facing a question over how do they attack her on policy, attack her on her history in the Senate and as vice president, and not go into the territory of talking about her gender or race, that you end up, isolating other voters. So Republicans and the Trump camp, I think right now are in this stage of, do we try to go head to head and debate her? I mean, she's also a former prosecutor, so she's pretty good debater. But on top of that, how do we go forward with attacking her to make it, appropriate and pointed to, extend the Republican tent as well?
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.